Now in its 10th year, this is Gabnet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, hey, live from Harlem in New York City, it's me. Yes, it's Alex, and this is the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Mike Chisholm, who I got to know through Shecky. And he got to know Shecky because he got a hold of Shecky because he was a big Letterman fan and he was doing a Letterman podcast. And well, one thing led to another, and I got to know Mike Chisholm. Then he started calling our Monday show, which he still does.
Yep.
And actually going to do it a couple hours from now when this is being recorded. Yep. And then I said, he wouldn't be a bad guest. Couldn't hurt, I think was the...
I will be the Tony Randall. Happy to be that guy. If you're stuck for somebody, you've always got somebody who is very, very happy to talk to you. Thanks for letting me come back on, Alex. I adore you.
Yeah, well, we like you too. Okay, I don't know if I adore you. That's being a little
Canadian. That's okay.
That's being a little too severe. Okay, But anyway, so you have this jacket. Explain this jacket.
So every year, David Letterman would hand out at his CBS run. He would hand out a different Letterman jacket of some sort.
Yeah, Shecky had every one that ever existed, going back to the very beginning.
Yeah. He would tease me about it mercilessly about, maybe one day, maybe one day I'll send you a jacket. Shecky would tease me all the time about that.
I looked in a closet once, and he had almost every jacket that they ever. Yeah. I think they gave them out every year.
They did. They gave them out every year.
Tell them the reason they gave out the jackets.
What's that?
Tell them the reason they gave out the jackets.
Well, actually the jackets. Obviously David Letterman. The idea, what a perfect gift, a Letterman jacket. I like that. They did that back in the NBC days, but in the CBS days, they would keep the Ed Sullivan Theater stage so cold you could almost see your breath.
Actually, 55 degrees.
55 degrees. There you go. And so they would do that because an audience that's kind of shifty and cold or whatever, they're ready to laugh. They're crisp. You get an audience once they start to heat up and once the 500 people would come into the room, it certainly would heat up. You don't want people lethargic. And so that was the logic. So the crew, they would give these Letterman jackets to, and some of them are warmer than others, but most of them are extremely warm. Like the one I'm wearing right now, which is the last jacket they ever gave out. They gave it out the day of the very last broadcast, May 20th, 2015. That's why it says thank you and good night on it. It's got sort of a memorialization patch for Worldwide Pants, which is Letterman's production company. Very, very warm, and would keep you warm in the studio.
Yeah, and so it's a very nice one to have. Yeah,
I love this one. Yeah, and it's still got the tags on it. A crew member who appreciates what it is that I do sent me a whole package of Letterman goodies from behind. That's where I got some of the pencils, including the double-ended pencil here.
Yeah.
Which started with Johnny Carson. Actually, Johnny Carson used to have these because he would drum the table all the time. And so Dave finished off, and then he sent me a whole bunch of things, so including this.
I'm sure when everybody left on the last show, they stole everything they could.
Some of them did. There's a guy who is he was a sound guy. He was the guy who handed Dave his microphone during the Q&A, and he would take the microphone back. His name's John Moran. John, he told me about those last days. There was at one point where Susan Hum, the wardrobe person, said, "Hey, anybody who wants any of Dave's clothes, come on up here." And they gave away Dave's suits, and there was a free-for-all from the wardrobe department, and he had a bunch of Dave's suit jackets, and he gave them to Goodwill. And I'm like, man, these are screen-used David Letterman suit jackets that he had, and he ended up giving them to Goodwill. I shook my head at that.
They're not really worth anything because there's so many of them. I mean, who wore different clothing every night?
The collector world is a weird world, man. If you can show something that can be photo matched and whatnot, there are collectors out there who will pay ungodly amounts for things like this.
It doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, that jacket's worth about $100 because of what it is. You know, the,
For sure.
the leather on
more
the
than that.
Is that
The
leather
company
on
that
the
made them, I
side?
think-
Is that leather on the side?
Full on leather. It's quilted inside, like you like the lining.
Those are not
it's
cheap jackets. You
No,
know?
they're $200 to $250 jackets just themselves. If you were to go to Golden Bear and buy one of these, you're $200 to $250.
Golden
Never mind
Bear,
the value.
is
I've
that,
seen
is
one
that,
sell
is that,
for
wait a minute,
$10,000
Golden
on
Bear,
eBay.
is that a Canadian company?
No. Ebbets Field did the first run, I believe, for a long time, and then it switched over to Golden Bear, which is out of San Francisco. I almost had the gal who was the liaison between the show and Golden Bear and the company. I almost had her on as a guest, but she sadly passed away, unfortunately, because these jackets were all designed differently every year. They were made with love. And Golden Bear was a partnership with Worldwide Pants right up to the
Maybe
right up
I
to the
should
end of the
make
run.
some Gabnet baseball jackets
I love
and give
I
them
think
out
they're
to my
great.
regulars. You know.
That's right. That's right. For the
Yeah.
Gabnet Empire, that
Yeah,
is.
but that
How
would
are things
cost-
been going, man? It's good to talk to you. How are you?
It's okay, you know. I mean, I woke up this morning, so that means I'm still alive. You know,
Good
I'm a
start.
little
Yep.
wobbly, so I'm drinking my coffee. You know,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
85 sucks. You know,
Oh.
everything starts to fall apart. Do I sound like I'm talking all right?
Oh, you sound like Alex
Yeah.
Bennett to me. So there you go.
Because my
Whatever that
mouth
means.
is like cotton. You know, so yeah, I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm still here. I've survived several people. You know. So whatever. So I'm kind of happy with that. You know, can't complain.
Not to put this conversation, because I don't know when you're going to air it, into a you know, I don't want to take away time, but the Oscars just happened, and I'm very curious.
Yeah, the
as
Oscars
to
just
what your thoughts
happened.
were.
This will go on Thursday. Okay.
Okay, so not bad. Okay, so we're short. We're just coming off the Oscars here. I'm
Yeah.
super curious. When Conan O'Brien came on and hosted this thing, I know I loved it. I'm very curious as to what you thought about the
Hated
presentation.
No, really, the show was terrible. And can I give you a couple of reasons why? Number
Sure.
one, Conan has no comedy timing. The jokes were good. The jokes were well written.
Okay.
But badly delivered.
Okay. All right.
All right? Because what
okay,
he
yep.
does is he's so nervous about he's still uncomfortable after all these years doing TV. And that uncomfortableness comes through when he tries to tell a joke and he adds little things to kind of make it work, but he doesn't actually make them work, okay?
Yeah.
So I thought
Okay.
he was terrible.
Okay.
What was also terrible is when they get somebody up and they're going to give like best supporting actor, okay?
Yes.
So they then name the person and then they give a little speech about the person.
So you didn't like Robert Downey Jr. giving the monologue about each of the nominees. You did not enjoy that part
I'll
of the
tell you
presentation.
why. I'll tell you
Okay.
why.
Okay.
That thing ran almost 4 hours last night.
Sure did.
And
Yep.
part of the reason it ran that long was exactly that. That they you know, what you do is you say, and the nominees are, and then you show their pictures, all right?
Yep.
And you get
Yep.
right through it in 15, 20 seconds, all right?
Yep.
This way, it took them 5 minutes to get through everybody.
Yep.
Slowed the show down incredibly, okay?
Yep.
The other thing they forget, what is the star of the Oscars?
Is it Best Picture? I mean, I
No,
don't know.
no. The star of the Oscars is not the host. It's not
Okay.
the people presenting it to the audience. It's in the theater.
Okay.
It's the Oscars themselves. Are
Right.
the stars.
Okay. Okay.
So give the goddamn things out. Okay. It
Yep.
was 30 minutes before they gave out their first Oscar.
Yep.
All right. It should have been 10 minutes before they gave out their first Oscar. You know, let Billy Crystal do his little song and dance or whatever, you know, and then
Yep.
get to the Oscars.
I gotcha.
They also did them in the wrong order. Usually, either best supporting or best supporting actress or actor is the first award of the evening given out.
Yep.
Then everything else are all those little intermediary things which most people don't even care about.
The technical awards and things like that.
Those awards probably should be given out at a separate ceremony. And then what you do is, like they do in England with the BAFTAs, you say, earlier tonight we awarded these awards, okay? And then you show a clip of people accepting their awards one after the other. And that takes about 3 minutes best, okay? That's the way to do that. Then what you've done is you've gotten yourself down to a 2-hour show.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay?
no,
because
no
all
question
anybody
about
cares about, they don't even care about Best Director. They don't even care about that one. They care about Best Supporting Actor and Actress and Best Actor and Actress and the Best Picture. Okay.
So here's a question for you. Have you ever had reference? One of the things that happened on the show last night was Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal came out to give away an award, and Conan kind of had an aside about Billy and how it's been 35 years. First off, that's weird to me since Billy Crystal hosted his first awards, because I think about Billy Crystal as kind of the upper echelon of Oscar hosts. I think about the telecasts that I've enjoyed, and Billy Crystal.
Well, here are the upper echelon. For a minute, let's talk about the upper echelon of Oscar hosts.
That's what I want to know. I want to know, did you ever enjoy these shows?
The person who did, I think, the most Oscar awards was Bob Hope.
Yep.
And the next in line for the most was Johnny Carson.
Yep. This is what I want to ask. Did you enjoy those telecasts of the Oscars compared to what we saw last night?
I think they were cut and paste. You know, it was like, okay, here's an Oscar, get it. I watched Oscars from like the first Oscars that were televised.
Yep.
Or maybe even some of the ones that were filmed. And people would go up there and they get the award. Best Supporting Actor is, Mike Chisholm. And then you would walk up there and they say, thank you. And they walk off, okay? Now you get these people wanting to thank everybody in hell, including their dead mother, their dead father, their dead aunt, their dead, accountant,
Yep.
So, I mean, it goes on and on and on. They should only say, thank you very much. I appreciate this award. Goodbye.
So the thank yous of everybody, God and the team and all of the people around me, that's one thing. But also, you have seen the development of the idea that an Oscar winner in whatever category comes up and they need to make a social or political or statement of some sort because they have this big microphone in front of them. I don't know if it started with Brando or not, but that is something that you have seen evolve as well, and there was certainly a lot of that last night.
I don't think that needs to happen, and I'm a very political person, but I think then you're getting an award. You're not given the dais to give out with your political beliefs and whatever, okay? So I think that's the wrong place to do it. I mean, I think if they wanted to say, we want to thank all the firemen who helped in the Hollywood fire, the Los Angeles fire, that would be appropriate because almost everybody in that audience in one way or another was affected by it. Okay?
100%.
That's fine. But if you want, you go Gaza this and this thing and that thing, and you go, this is, nobody cares here.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes, it is the world's biggest dais, but nobody's listening.
Yeah.
They're probably eating popcorn or taking a pee.
It can fall flat. It can certainly fall. Like I think about, I don't think it was the Oscars. I think it was I think it was the Golden Globes a few years ago where, Joaquin Phoenix won and he berated everybody who came in on a private jet and did these things and whatnot. And I think that sometimes the passion might be there for something that you feel heartfelt about, but I don't know that it translates very well. But certainly you've seen that go from thank you very much to, was Brando the first one? When he sent up?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think there are other people who have done it in one way or another.
Yeah.
Brando did it by sending up Shasheen Littlefeather, I think was her name, to accept the award. And it was for The Godfather? I think it was for
Godfather,
yeah. He didn't show up. He sent her. She gave a speech about, Native Americans, and everybody booed. And she got off. So, but it wasn't Brando really. It was Shasheen Littlefeather who gave the speech.
Yeah.
Other people have tried in later years for one thing or another. But I just don't know that that's the place to do it. That's not why anybody's watching that, you know.
Yeah.
And there are already too many award shows, and this is one of them. I mean, and probably getting to be the least important. You know, it's a more dressy affair than any of the others. It's a more spectacular affair than any of the others. But it's certainly, how's it any more important than, you know, I think it's up to 150 waiters at restaurants in New York, in L.A. who vote for the Golden Globes, you know.
For sure.
Although the Golden Globes is biased towards international stars because it's the Foreign Press Association.
Yep.
But it really means nothing. None of these awards mean anything. The Oscars used to mean something. Although you could say with great regularity that whoever won the Oscar, you forgot who won the Oscar last year. For instance, quickly, who won the Oscar last year for Best Actor?
Yeah, I don't have it. No, you're
How about
right.
Best Actress? I'll
don't
go
have it
easy
either.
on you. Best Picture.
Yep. Exactly.
I don't remember. Do you?
Nope. No. It's been diluted so
Yeah.
severely.
Yeah. Now, I am happy about the way the awards came out. They were better than usual. They were
Yeah.
justified. They were,
Yeah.
you know, my favorite of all of them, I felt, was Mikey Madison.
Yep.
And my favorite film probably was After I Thought About It. Didn't like it so much when I was watching it, but when I went back and thought about it, it was Nora.
Yeah.
And the worst acting job of the year was Demi Moore.
You thought that?
I mean, what
But she
did
got
she
the-
do?
got
She
the
took her
makeup, though.
clothes. She
They
took
got
her
the makeup
clothes
award.
off. She appeared naked in the film. Okay,
Yep.
got a great body for a woman her age, for an old
Yep.
broad, as my father used to put it. I thought broad was a great term. He was always.
I still love it. I call my wife a broad all the
Yeah,
time.
he felt that broad was a great term because what it indicated was that the woman was a actuating person. You know, that she
Yep.
didn't take crap from anybody.
Yep.
You know, and it was the first. My father, in that respect, was kind of the first, feminist when he said broad is a terrific term because
It's empowering.
you know, Betty Davis is a tough broad. He used to describe Betty Davis as a broad.
Yep.
You know.
That's how I view it too.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, I was happy with the Nora winning. I think it's nice an independent film won for a change, not a big spectacular like Wicked or any of those others.
Yep.
And I felt it was wonderful that it had won, and I was so rooting for Mikey Madison because I liked her when she was on Better Things on FX, and for her to come up that far in that short a time, was to me terrific, and she was very good in that film. I mean, she doesn't have a Brooklyn accent, you know, and she really acted like she was a sex worker. You know, it was a beautiful job.
Well, our mutual friend, my good friend, I just adore this guy, Steve Weiner. I mean, I was more. I don't know who I was happier for, the cast and crew of that beautiful independent movie, or Steve. Steve has been talking about that movie ever since he saw it, and the fact that they won. Is it 5? They won 5 Oscars, I think.
5
last
Oscars,
night.
yeah.
Yeah. It was. I was very happy for him. He said they got it right. That part.
They got that right. They got the best actor right.
Yep.
Although people voted for his nose. And let me see, what else was right? Director, of course, was right. I think for the most part, these things were right, you know. And somebody from St. Jude is trying to call me.
Hospital time.
You know, I gave them $100. I gave them $100, and now they're constantly calling me and emailing me and so on.
It's a fundraising call, not a test results call.
Well, yeah, right. This is a test result. These are your test results from St. Jude's. Surprise, you've got cancer. Anyway, But I felt that the awards, for the most part, I agreed with most of the. I was hoping against hope that Demi Moore wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Because I felt it was an okay picture. It really had a bad third act.
Yep.
They didn't know how to wrap the film up, and so it got out of hand.
Yeah, it's all premise. I think the premise is spectacular.
Well, I think you could have done more with the premise. I think there's something about something that makes you younger, that if you take it, it works, and then it's got to have some kind of penalty at the end.
Yep.
But deal with that as opposed to, oh, I'm just getting uglier and horrible, and I got this dead person on my floor who wakes up, and then I die, and it just it was too much. It could have just been the consequences of using a serum that's supposed to de-age you,
Yep.
I thought it was a terrible film.
But the makeup award, that was cool. Like I thought that was.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I saw one thing. It said, what was it? I was trying to think of it. What was the category? Best. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Because what I said was the award was for something, and I said really, the Dune. It was for Dune. And I can't remember what the award was exactly, but it was, best photography.
Yep.
Okay, best cinematography. Dune. And I'm going, what part of Dune is cinematography and what part of Dune is special effects?
Yeah.
Forget it. There is no cinematography involved. They just shoot the basic shot, and then they go to this, into the computer, and they add all the other images around it and make it look beautiful.
Yep.
So who's the cinematographer?
Yeah. It's
So that I felt was
a
a big mistake. I think they've lost all sense of what a movie is, and maybe we have too. Maybe movies are not really going to be the future,
Well, it was interesting. One of the I think this was the Smigel bit of that was put in there. There was an insert put in for the idea of going back to the movie theater. People are streaming, and they said, "Oh, we've got this place. It's a communal streaming place where we can all go together." And it's literally a commercial to teach people to go back to the movie theater to watch movies. And I completely agree with you. It's changing. To me, it's change. I'm going to try and make it as slow a change as humanly possible because I love the communal experience still. I love going to the movie theater with 5 friends and going out for pie afterwards and discussing it, unfortunately.
The average person now goes to a movie twice a year.
That's right.
That's it. Ours has been none in the last year.
Yep.
None in the year previous, but right after COVID, we went to a movie theater. And that was it. What do I need movie theaters for? I've got it in my home. I've got a big screen that takes up about the same field of view from my bed that a screen would in a movie theater.
Yep.
I've got surround sound.
Yep.
What do I need? What do I need a movie theater for? Why? So somebody can kick the back of my seat? So some baby in one part of the theater is crying his lungs out and the parent won't take him outside?
My response to that is yes. Yes. I believe that there is something with that experience that that does bring a different I think there's a different amount of paying attention when you're in the movie theater. I do think that those intangibles around you of things like that, I think are, to me, they're charming. But what's funny? You take that average.
You mean
of 2
a crying
movies a year,
baby in a theater is charming to you?
Well, the crying baby might be a little too much, but the person with the funny laugh over on that corner who has the funny laugh at something, I
agree with you about the communal experience of theaters.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't really exist anymore.
Unless, so here's, that average goes up significantly when you include people with families. I think it's kids that are going to decide. The kids of this generation are the ones who are going to decide if this thing lives or not.
My last day going to a movie theater, we got about a minute left here. My last day going to a movie theater was when we went to see something, because I loved 3D. I was always a 3D fan. I saw every 3D film when I was a kid.
Yep.
So it was 3D. So it was, and I can't remember what it was, all the creatures picture with, I don't know. Anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm watching, the movie comes on. And I go, there's something wrong here. Everybody's got the glasses on and everything,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And I said, you know what's wrong? I looked over at Marjorie. I said, they're not projecting it in 3D.
Oh no.
And I'm sitting there wondering about this. And I go to, I'm looking at everybody. They go, all got their glasses on watching the film, right? So I leave the theater. I go down to the manager and I said, you do realize in the theater 2 or whatever, it's not in 3D. And he said, well, sure it is. And I said, no, it's not. And I said, okay, come look. And he looked, put the glasses on. He said, well, it doesn't look like 3D. I said, now come to the next theater where the same movie is playing.
Yep.
And let's go in there. And he put his glasses on and he said, you're right, but we can't stop it because it's already gone on for a while and we can't stop the film and start it again. And I went, then I want my money back. This isn't in 3D. And we go back into my theater and everybody's sitting there with their glasses like it's in 3D. They don't know the difference.
No.
You know, they don't know the difference. Hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
Yeah.
Way out of time, actually. Let's do this again sometime soon, okay?
Can't wait.
That means about a minute from now, actually. But, you know. Well, Mike Chisholm, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, brother. Anytime.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that's Mike Chisholm. We'll have him on again in a couple of weeks. He's really good. I enjoy talking with him. You know, and oh boy, I started during that while that was on. I was in the bathroom. I was sitting there. All of a sudden, I started coughing. My God, and I don't know what from, and I don't know what there is, but there's something in this apartment tonight, man. That is just, you know. Marjorie's eyes were burning. I'm coughing like crazy, you know. So I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway. Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our fine program. We got about 2 people waiting, but they're both quality people. Quality people, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring them in here. Admit all. And let me see here. There we go. There they are. It's Brian Neary and it's Kevin Stopper. Hello to the 2 of you. How are you?
We've been chatting all day, so why are we the only ones on today?
What?
Kevin and I have been chatting during the day, so just funny that we're the only ones on. So we have nothing to talk about.
You've been chatting today about what?
Yeah, just
what?
car stuff. Car stuff.
Oh, car stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, well, leave me out. You know, I've never been a big car guy. You know, I've always had very nice cars, right? But why, I don't know. I had cars where I'd drive by and kids would be going, you know?
Yeah.
I had what did I get? The first really good, decent car I got was a Mazda RX.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the rotary engine.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got a Nissan 300Z.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I make good choices there in those cars, in your opinion?
Yeah, back then, Back then they were fun.
Yeah, yeah. But so that was my big deal. But, you know, I never cared about them in particularly. You know, they were fun. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed taking the T-top off on the Z, you know.
Yeah.
And
I can't, I don't want to talk too much about cars, but I can't understand people like you.
What do you mean people like me?
That they're just for transportation. They don't take care of them. They don't, you know.
What do you mean? I took care of my cars.
No, but I'm saying other people. You know, other people have, you know, other cars, and they don't see them as works of art. Older one, I don't know.
Well, my father taught me, car is basic transportation, and it's got to serve that function first of all, right? Well,
Yeah,
I guess I'm wrong. I didn't realize how wrong
I
I
have
was.
one car for basic transportation, and I have 3 cars that are for fun. So
Yeah. What's the car for basic transportation? The Cadillac?
Yeah, my Cadillac Lyric. Yeah.
Yeah, that's basic transportation.
But then it's still nice. It's black with white interior, and I got all the extras and the automatic driving and everything.
So it went beyond being just basic transportation for you.
Because, when I have a real job, it's like, I have commuting and I want to get into a nice car and be able to turn up the music and, relax. So,
yeah. Well, best thing about I had an accurate RL. What was it? The top of the line accurate at the time.
Yeah.
Was it the RL?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And the best thing about that we loved were the seat warmers.
Mm.
So what can you say about me as a car guy when what I liked was the seat warmers?
In every single car now.
Yeah, it's pretty much standard.
Every car
It's
has
standard
it
now.
Oh, really?
Even my McLaren has them.
Yeah, my truck even has those and heat coolers. I mean,
Oh,
seat
yeah.
coolers.
Seat coolers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll numb your ass in about 2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy. Oh, boy. I didn't know. See, that's how long it's been since I've had a car. I moved to New York.
That's my truck.
No, but I moved to New York, and there's no reason to have a car here. When you live in California, you had every reason to have a car,
Exactly. Now, but I always, San Francisco before, and I'm sure New York, I think it'd be fun to live there for a little bit and not have a car and just, go around everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no, look, if I had a car here, number one, I'd be buying the car. And even if I bought it for cash, okay, paid for the whole thing, I would still have to have insurance, which in New York is hellish. Okay.
Same in California.
And then you got to find a place to garage it, which is going to run you about $700 a month. And between the insurance and and then the fact is that I wouldn't use it very much.
Mm-hmm.
I have nowhere to go really. I mean, I could go upstate and do things like that, but not in the middle of winter.
Mm-hmm.
So why should I have a car? I mean, if I need a car, if I need to drive a car somewhere, I can always rent one.
Mm-hmm.
And I can have the nicest car I want if I rent them.
Beat the shit out of it, too.
And beat the shit out of it, too. Yeah. Like they said on the Seinfeld show, does this come with insurance? Yes. Well, I'm inclined to beat the hell out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not reserved. I plan on beating the royal hell out of it.
Yeah, right.
You probably did.
That was the whole thing about the reservation,
Yeah. We don't have your reservation.
Isn't the main thing of a reservation is to hold the reservation?
Reserve?
Have you ever had that problem with like a rental car where you went to reserve it and they didn't have it?
Nah.
Yeah, I never had that happen either. But
That's when they're doing it on index cards.
Yeah, but I just don't know if I can drive anymore. It's been so long since I've driven. I haven't driven in about, maybe 6 years, something like that.
If any of the drivers in New York, which I know they are as bad as the ones out here, you don't want to drive.
Yeah, I see other drivers, even though you're probably bad driving now.
Well, my friend Shecky, before he died, stopped driving his car practically because he said, you get out there, those people are crazy.
They are?
He said, they're nuts. He says, so I drive.
That's why I said I'm glad I'm not driving truck anymore, especially with hazardous materials. I'm not doing that anymore because I know even the truck drivers.
Is it my imagination, or when I was younger, people were better drivers?
Yeah.
And now the distraction when I'm in traffic every day, I look across and there are people. Everybody's looking down at their phones. I think I told you guys before. There's an Instagram guy, and it's I-5 or something like that's called. And he's up like near Washington, and he commutes, and his buddy who he commutes with just keeps filming people. He films people, and you see him at nighttime when they're coming home, and people are like driving, and they see they're watching something on TV or on their phone,
Mm-hmm.
And they just keep yelling at him and roll down the window and yelling at him.
But when
I'm riding my Harley, that's exactly what I look for, that more than I look for other cars. I'm looking up to see where their head is, where their hand is. You see the phone in their hand. I go around them because they're not gonna see me.
I got to tell you, when I was growing up and I first started driving, drivers were pretty good. But you know where they were really good? New York City. Best drivers in the world. You had to be in order to live. Okay? All of a sudden, New York drivers are terrible. They're like, I hate to say this, Charlene, New Jersey drivers.
It is worse. I moved from New York to New Jersey and they can't drive. No, New York, you have to drive. I used to drive in Manhattan.
Not
with the
anymore.
cab drivers.
Not anymore. They're crazy here.
They're like New Jersey.
Yeah, they'll like New
Go
Jersey.
to Florida, you're screwed.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean,
Alex,
yeah.
I heard Kevin talking about numb asses, so I decided to call in.
Oh, okay.
Is your ass numb?
I was
I don't know, is yours?
one time
No,
when I
not my
first
truck.
when I came to New
You're the
York.
one that brought up the numb asses.
When I said we came to New York, one time I came back here after a long period of time, and I was telling the person who was with me, I can't remember who it was, maybe my ex-girlfriend. I said, the one thing about New York is the worst drivers are from New Jersey. And in
Oh, yeah.
California, the worst drivers, at least at that time, were Chinese. Okay? You know what I'm talking about, right, Brian? There was a time when Chinese drivers were horrible.
I don't know anything about what you're talking about.
Well, I know.
I plead fifth.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I know it's not
Yeah.
polite to
And
say that now.
I said,
but
oh, look, there's a horrible driver. I'll bet they're from New Jersey. And we looked at the license plate, and sure enough, it was New Jersey. And as we passed them, she was also Chinese.
oh, wow.
It was a
But
Chinese driver.
don't say Chinese, say Asian, because
Yeah.
you don't know if they're Vietnamese or something else,
Well, I think this was
I
Chinese,
have an Asian friend that admits that.
but admits
Yeah.
that. I don't know. I asked
No, I
somebody.
do too.
I asked somebody, Asian person, why Asians seem to be terrible drivers in California. And it had something to do with the difference between the cultures and where they grew up. The driving, for instance, in Asia is different than driving here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
More of a privilege and more courteous. They're courteous. Out here, being in a car nowadays is like being on your keyboard behind, on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't give a shit. You're in my way. Get the hell out.
Now, let me.
But also like in Vietnam, in Vietnam, they used to be, 90%, 100%, scooters. Where now they have a lot more cars, and they're having a problem because the streets were so narrow because they used to just have scooters all the time. Now these cars are there and sort of getting in the way. But I saw a lot of Vietnamese, they never really drove cars until they come here. So.
Yeah.
Brian, you drove in Vietnam?
Oh, I loved riding scooters in Vietnam. So fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
scooters, but never cars, though.
No. That's yes.
Scooters are pretty big there, though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, everybody has scooters or bicycles.
Vespa? a Vespa.
So you see those big intersections and these people, people just flowing around. It's like water. You just follow some people and you get in and you go around the roundabout and then you slowly move out and you get out. If there's a car turning left across traffic, you just sort of go behind them and just go right across. And walking across is fun. Just go straight and just walk, and the scooters will go around you. It's crazy.
Yeah. You're unmuted, Jeffrey.
Oh,
Yeah, you're unmuted. No, now you just muted yourself again. Here, there you go.
how about now?
There you go. Good. It was California for a while there. It was like Asian drivers were like the worst. How are they now?
So seriously, when Adrian and I are driving, somebody's doing something or slow. Adrian says, I gotta see. We get next to them and she'll look over, and usually they're old people. I think so.
Old
Yeah.
people.
Well,
But it's funny
old
because
people.
Adrian,
old-
Now he's disparaging the old people.
but no, wait a minute. Old people are bad drivers. I mean that's
They
why
can't move their necks.
That's why.
they're slow.
No, that's
slow drivers.
That's why I don't drive.
Yeah.
You know
exactly.
why I've considered not driving, and my business manager, who's 90, has quit driving altogether. His wife drives him everywhere. He just said I got into a little fender bender, and I said that's it. I'm through.
Good. Good.
And with me, it's just that it's been so long since I've actually gotten behind the wheel of a car. I don't know how I would do. It probably I would be fine, but I don't want to take the chance. Hey, here it hurts. I want every bit of insurance you have.
Bubble wrap the car and everything.
Well, actually, I have an American Express card, and I have a thing with it where if I use an American Express card to rent the car, I get liability insurance automatically. And then, so far as damage or something else, that's covered by something else that I have. So I'm covered, so I could probably total that car, not worry about it. But I'd be in it when it got totaled. That's the problem, But I never had this thing about cars. I guess it was because when I first got a car and I was a kid, the best I could afford was a 1939 Pontiac Torpedo.
Oh, yeah. Should have kept it.
Yeah, but
being antique.
But that was 1939. Was the car I bought this car in like what was it? 1958, 58, something like that.
Wow.
So a lot of years had passed on that car. I bought it because I had a friend who owned it, and he was really good at getting laid. Okay, and I figured I was still a virgin. I figured if I bought the car, somehow there was some magic in that car that would get me laid. Guess what? I couldn't get my money back. So
Tough world.
yeah, well, it was so old, and it had a bad paint job put on it in the intervening years, that I don't think it was really a chick magnet, if you pardon the expression, chick. Babe, is that better? Babe magnet, is that nicer? A Ms. magnet, that's good. There we go. Okay. But I was never big into cars, only because my father just said to me, you must respect the car. He said, I'm not going to buy you your first car. You're going to have to buy your first car, because if I buy it for you, you're not going to respect it. You'll wrap it around the telephone pole because I bought it for you. He said, so you have to buy your first car. And so I saved up enough money and I bought my first car. But, he always made me feel that a car was at its most basic was transportation. And so I never had a big love for cars or whatever, Other kids did, but I didn't. But you two guys, you're car crazy. You love cars.
Yep.
Yep.
What you got on the what would you do? Would you do a Zoom with each other?
No, just chatting back and forth and some pictures. I've been finishing up my 34 Cadillac Speedster, and I'm keeping it pretty quiet. And I just saw it today, but Kevin's a good friend, so I sent him some pictures. So.
Oh, good. Are you impressed by the pictures, Kevin?
I am.
Really?
It's going to look really nice when it's done.
Which one? What's he doing?
Cadillac.
The Cadillac. He's fixing up the Cadillac.
Yeah, the 1934 Cadillac.
1934 Cadillac.
Yeah. It's a Speedster, so it's very rare.
Where do you get parts for that?
I make sure the car's complete when I buy it. It's much easier that way. I learned from one other car.
Find other people with them and talk them down.
But the internet these days, you can find a lot of stuff.
You can find a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Got a hair here.
And the car's very special because 1934. I know you were born 1934, but 1934.
I was born in 1934. Please, I was born in 1939.
I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, 1939. That's right. Sorry. 1934. Yeah, because the Depression, was going on, and so
that was 29. That was 29.
Yeah, but you still had the Depression, So
my mother was 31. She was still recovering in her generation.
The Depression, I think, ended before 39. I believe,
But 1934, people who bought this Cadillac were very wealthy because just go into a showroom and buy a car to hang out with your friends, because this is not a family car. It's called a golf car because they have the golf club door on the side that the guy ordered special as an option so he could shove his golf clubs in there when he hangs out with his
Was
buddies.
that a little kind of slit in the side?
There's a door. Yeah, it's a door like
A little locker thing.
so big. It opens up and they slide it, and it's in the back seat. And so the person who ordered this car was very wealthy. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's a special car.
Charlene, you had your hand up.
If we buy a car this year during the Trump recession, we'll have, the Trump depression, we'll have a collector's car there.
Nobody could buy cars.
2025.
Yes, Charlene, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to say, Brian, like I grew up, my father was a caddy man, dude.
Yeah.
So I guess I grew up rich or something like that, because my father, he went to the unemployment line one time, and he never collected his unemployment after that. I was a little girl and I went with him. The guy said, "You drove up here in a Cadillac and you're on unemployment." So I guess I was rich.
Well, they were pretty. How expensive was a Cadillac in, what did you say, 1934?
I don't know. Probably maybe $1,200, I guess. I don't know.
No, more than that, I would imagine.
My father had a 58 with
Because you got to remember what a Ford, when it first came out and they were making the Model T, I think they were $400, weren't they? Something like that.
very cheap. Yeah,
They were cheap, but not cheap then. $400 back then was
a lot of money.
Not inefficient amount of money or whatever, insufficient amount of money. Wow. Yeah.
What kind of engine does that Cadillac have?
It doesn't have an engine. It has two pedals for him to. It's like Fred Flintstone.
A hole in the floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1930. I have a 500 big block from my friend's 1969 Cadillac. Okay, so a 2-passenger coupe, 1934 Cadillac. Oh wow, V16, $5,330.
Wow. And this was back in 35, was it?
Yeah, 1930. Yeah, 1934, 1935.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
And then the 7-passenger town car was $7,170.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Top sale of one these days is $940,000 or $135 on the low end.
Yeah,
wait a minute.
V16s are very, very expensive right now.
Yeah.
Is that a V16 you have?
No, mine was a V8.
V8, okay.
The V8,
You'd have a hell of a
V12, and then the V16. Yeah, V16 town cars.
You always want a V8 in an old car, right?
Oh, V16, God, that must have been just
Huge.
They use those in airplanes.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds incredible, actually. You think about it.
They do make a V10 still.
Hmm?
They still make a V10.
A V10? Alan's
Ford
joined
had
us,
one,
by the
and
way.
so did I. Let's see, who else had the other one? I
Yeah,
know Ford did.
Yeah.
They'd put them in motorhomes and trucks.
Yeah. But like, for instance, do they even make V whatevers anymore? No. In cars.
Yeah.
They do?
They're all pretty much Vs.
They're
It's just
all-
whether it's a
My
3,
McLaren
6,
has
a
a-
4.
But they're V4s, V6s.
My McLaren has a V8 with twin turbos.
Really?
Yeah. Some exotics have V12s, V10s.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, Jaguars and
Ferrari,
stuff.
their 812 Superfast has a V12 in it. But for $500,000, it should have something in it.
Is it that Ferrari $500,000?
Yeah.
They're expensive.
Because Ferraris, in general, when my friend Paul bought one, were about 120,000.
Well, the one that I had back in the last century, it cost me a lot cheaper. I had the one that Tom Selleck drove.
Yeah.
Not that very car, but the same model as a 308 GTS with a T-top, and I hated that. But I got it in an auction for $25,000. It was in great shape. And, I just didn't realize that I wasn't going to be able to do a tune-up every 20,000 miles for $600. for $60.
Yeah. So yeah.
Everybody at work thought I was on the take.
What was it? I've just
Yeah, I don't drive mine to work because I'm closing the company, so it doesn't look good when the boss pulls up in a new McLaren. Oh yeah, by the way, our last day is March. March
What do you mean you're
28th.
closing the company?
We moved when all the work I did in Lodi. We moved all the machines up to Lodi, and so Sunnyvale, we're going to close manufacturing in the 28th of March.
But all the people who are working in Sunnyvale, do they have the ability to go to the new place?
We let a bunch of people off the end of December, so I have about 313 people right now, and those people will be done the end of March.
How many people did you let off?
We let off 260 in the end of December, and then 313 I have left, and they'll be gone. Our last day is the 28th.
Okay, but are they allowed to move to the new facility?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not letting all those people go, but why did you let so many people go?
Well, because we're closing the manufacturing, we're shutting all that down. We moved everything up to Lodi. Because we moved. Yeah, we have a plastic mold injection company in Lodi, and so we built a big manufacturing facility right next door.
Yeah. So
and Google bought our land, so Google's kicking us out.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right. Damn Google.
Yeah, really. Don't you, before you fire these people, don't you hand them baseball bats and say, "Stay away from that McLaren down there in the parking lot"? Yeah, I would.
No.
Well, it just bothers me when I hear about companies letting people go because, they work hard for the company and it wasn't their fault, was it?
Mm-hmm.
If there's some kind of reason for the efficiency, or was the efficiency just because you had better facilities?
Yeah, well, we have a new facility, so that's bigger and better, so more capacity, and it's right next door, so it's like a campus. Now all our plastic is made at these couple buildings next door, and then we use those plastics to make our parts. So it's very efficient for the company.
Wow. So your company's gotten pretty big, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the last 12 quarters, we passed Roche and Abbott for in vitro diagnostics. Yeah, it's pretty big.
Wow.
But my last day is the 28th also.
What do you mean your last day?
I signed until March, the end of March.
Then you don't have a job anymore?
Correct.
What?
So I have a huge severance package, like 20 weeks of severance because I have
retiring.
21 years. I have 20 years almost 21 years of the company. So I have 20 years or 20 weeks of severance, and then I have all my PTO still, and I have bonus and all that stuff. So, yep.
Are you good for the rest of your life?
No, no, but I have a very, very big opportunity that came, and I'm going to be fine, but I just don't want to say anything about it yet.
Oh, okay.
Trump hired you to do what?
No Trump.
He's going to work for Doge.
Right.
That's right.
Well, he's got all this practice.
No, that's not possible. He's too old.
Yeah, I had a couple connections, so I wasn't really worried about it, and I just started applying on Monday. No, what's today? Yeah, on Monday. I just started applying on Friday, and then Monday I put on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden some of my old workers know how well I work, and there's a big company that is making me a very, very big offer that I'm like crying of tears about. So we'll see. Everything's gone. Yeah, So I don't want to say too much.
But why are you leaving your company? Is that you chose to leave the company?
Yeah, because I didn't want to transfer up to Lodi, and just a lot of political stuff up there. So
no more caps for me, huh?
I give you all my caps. I'll send you a box full of jackets and caps.
Jackets? You have jackets?
You'll get new jackets for my new company if I start there.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, this company does like the same thing we do. Yeah, and it's a much larger position than I was in now. So I've already met with the owner and founder, CEO, and so next week I just go for a little walkthrough, and I have there's 4 or 5 people that I used to work with that work there, so I do a little walkthrough with them. I think they're going to make me an offer next week. So.
Would we know the company?
No,
No. Okay.
yeah.
Because I would.
Are they giving you a company McLaren for your company car?
No. But I'll be able to buy another one after I get this pay. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
And then it's gonna make me move back down to the Bay Area, and I'll be closer to Adrian and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
so.
and next time you have lunch with him, Alan, he's picking up lunch.
Picking up lunch and putting it next to him.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Brian. I'll buy lunch next time. Because he could be unemployed, Alex. He might not have a job.
Well, listen, how broke have we gotten in the last couple of days? I think I've lost about 10 grand because of that asshole in the White House.
Yeah.
Because he goes, we're going to start tariffs today, and the fucking stock market tanks.
Yeah.
And then he says, wait a minute, I've changed my mind. I'm not going to have tariffs until April. All right. Which when April comes, he's never going to bring the tariffs back because he saw what tariffs did, right? Initially here. But he lost me a lot of money. I lost at least 10 grand, 15 grand.
In the stock market.
Yeah, CNN showed a little picture of all of his decisions about tariffs all the way through. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Off and on.
Oh yeah. I love tariffs. Tariffs are wonderful. Tariffs. I'm doing a tariff on Hawaii. We're putting a tariff on anything coming from Hawaii.
Country of Hawaii.
I love tariffs. Yeah. Well, we have tariffs now on Canada, and of course that great importer of fentanyl, Canada.
Oh my God.
And then he says, oh, wait a minute, this isn't working, is it? Oh, okay, I'm holding it off until April, and then in April everybody's going to forget, and he's just not going to bring it back. But then the people are going to say, well, gee, I voted for you because you said you were going to do this and you were going to do that, and you didn't do this and you didn't do that. And he's going to say, well, it's the Democrats' fault. They didn't let me.
Right.
Right? It's all
So you talk about going back a couple steps here. You talked about companies losing people and stuff, letting people go, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, the government's going to release the jobless rate.
Tomorrow.
And they're estimating that it's going to be the worst since 2009.
Really?
Yeah, after 75 months of job growth, we're probably going to have job loss.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's Biden's fault though.
Yeah, it's Biden's fault.
It's all Biden's fault. Okay.
That's interest rate. My loan guy is telling me hold off a little bit because we got to see what's going to go on Friday.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, the stock market will probably go back up again. I've seen it go low, and now it'll go high again.
I don't know. The stocks that I own in the stock market I've had for probably 20 years. I haven't bought or sold anything. They've gone up 12% in the 2 months. My portfolio's gone up 12% in the 2 months that Trump has been in office. Big companies like Republicans because Republicans give them tax breaks and they can make more money, and so the stock becomes more valuable usually during a Republican.
I don't know where my stocks are. I have a company that does it for me. Friend of Gary's who has this major company that takes all your stuff and invests it, and
it'll come back up.
Takes care of it. So I don't know where my money is.
It's not like you need the money or anything.
No, right now I'm living off cash that hasn't been affected at all by that.
Right.
And then we got what is it? A couple of $100,000 in government bonds. So they're sitting there, they're safe. They go up no matter what.
Bonds have been going up. Bonds are usually inverse.
Yeah.
So if the stock market's doing bad, the bond market is doing good.
But just as long as I have enough money to, to live a decent life, that's all I care. I don't,
That's right.
I just hate to see it disappear at all,
Yeah. Well,
But
Trump was talking the other day about getting rid of the FDIC insurance. And the last time that happened, we had the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think somebody reminded him that you may not want to do that. You might, if you want to combine the FDIC with the Justice Department or something like that to have fewer employees. But the FDIC is only there for if banks fail, and they check to make sure banks are solid. They have enough money to continue to protect the assets. And if he gets rid of that, the country's going to fall apart instantly. People are going to panic. They're going to think
It'll be 1929 all over again.
Well,
right?
I don't think so. I think we live in a different time, Charlene. But I think that a lot of people are going to panic. No, there's nothing to be sorry about. I think that there are people are going to be worried that what happens if my bank fails? I lose all my money. Yeah, well, then what you ought to do is not deal with regional or small banks. You ought to deal with big banks like Citibank or U.S. Bank or Bank of America. They're not going to fail that easy. And if the bank doesn't fail, your money's safe with them.
Yeah. On the other hand, if I put it, I had a lot of money I got all at once, and I had a nice, good amount. And Marjorie's selling off her condo, and we're going to get another bunch of money, and so we've got a nice chunk of cash. Okay, but it was sitting in the bank, and I was just told, and I felt I had to do something with it because I got let's say at one point I think I had about $700,000 in just the bank. I had money elsewhere, but just in the bank. And so at the end of the month, I get the interest on that money, $3.23.
Yeah.
Woo, boy, what a ripoff.
And I go, I got to put my money somewhere else. This is not a good idea.
Put it in CDs at 4%. But there are other ways other than to save your money. You can buy bond funds. You can buy cash funds through a stockbroker that are not FDIC insured, but are insured by the brokerage firm. Some of these brokerage firms are bigger than banks. Like Morgan Stanley is probably the biggest. But you could put a savings account there. You can buy bond funds. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah, I just didn't want to put it anywhere that I couldn't immediately draw it out if I needed to. And the only place it's there where I can't do that, but I can do it, but it would be, I would be losing a lot of money, is if I took it out of the bonds. We left enough in the bonds. We left enough in the rest of the money so I could just take that out at any time if I needed it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's nice. And then,
I don't think he's going to cancel the FDIC insurance. It's too important to the country.
Well, it looks like he's trying to do something with Social Security, which is nuts.
Oh, yeah. I think all the people in the South, all the poor people in the South that live from paycheck to paycheck on Social Security, and he wants to cut it.
Well, I mean, it's basically older people that get Social Security. People in the South.
And those people vote.
Well, I mean, they're all old people. They're people like, dare I say it, Jeff and I, between Marjorie and I, we get about, I don't know, over $5,000 a month from Social Security. That really takes care of our living expenses, to be honest with you.
No wonder we're going broke.
Huh?
No wonder we're going broke.
What do you mean? No wonder we're going broke. That was my money.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble with Trump taking it away. We put that money.
He can't take it away. You can't take money from people and then say we're going to stop paying it off. Okay, This is money that we paid out of our pocket every
Absolutely.
paycheck for, in my case, 40, 50 years, okay? And
I did too.
yeah,
Not 50 years, but for
but a long time, a long time.
Paid
Yeah,
in
yeah,
almost 50 years.
Yeah, Charlene.
It was so,
Hmm.
what was that address to the nation or whatever that was in Congress? What was that thing he did?
What do you
He
mean?
was ridiculous. He was saying that there are people like 150 years old that are still collecting and all that. And he's wrong about that because
Oh,
when my
that's
mother
wrong.
died,
No, that's
yeah, when my
absolutely
mother
wrong.
died, the funeral director told me that he notifies like Social Security and all that, and they also like the banks do it when you close it. They get notified, and you have to leave the money in there because the minute she died, they came and took the check they put in prior to her death. They took it out because they take it back out, and they do the same thing with pensions and things that she
Well,
had too.
the so-called 10 million people, or I don't know how many he
Yeah,
said,
it's
who
ridiculous
were
what he said.
over the age of 150. What
Yes, it
happens
was
is,
ridiculous.
for accounting purposes, when somebody dies, they simply say you're still kind of there, but you're not getting anything.
Right.
You know, you-
You're
Default.
entitled, but you're not going to get anything out of it.
Well, no, if you're 150, you're listed there because you were on Social Security, but you're not anymore, and it's their way of telling Social Security that you don't exist any longer. Those people that he mentioned last night, not a single one of them are getting a Social Security check.
Yeah, he
Right.
failed to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't mention that.
Computer entry they use.
Yeah, it's a computer entry.
Yeah, they use that so that the machine will not pay them.
The other mistake he made about that they were doing research or something.
The mice transgender.
Transgender
Oh.
mice. It isn't transgender mice. It's trans something else mice,
Yeah, I heard that too.
which
Alex.
is an electronic mouse or something. That it has nothing to do with transgender. It's called a transgenic or something like
Yeah,
that.
I think they're doing research on mice, and they use this other term.
It was not. Yeah. It's transgenic. I think the term is transgenic.
Transgenic mice. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing he's pissed about is the mice are all turning out to vote Democrat.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, so it was transgenic mice. It's not transgender mice.
Right. That shows you how stupid he is.
Yeah.
God.
it went
There's
on
no
for an
brain.
hour and a half.
Hour and a half? Are you kidding me? It was an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh,
And maybe
well,
a
okay,
little.
it was off by 10 minutes.
The only guy that was lucky was the guy who booed him that they kicked out. He didn't have to stick around for it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it was a congressman from Texas. I didn't hear him boo him. I heard him stand up and wave his cane.
He was
No, he
yelling
didn't boo him. He
things.
was yelling. He
yelling.
was yelling. You're
Oh, he was
lying.
yelling.
You're lying about Medicare
Yeah, he said you had no mandate.
or about Medicaid.
mandate.
You had no mandate for Medicaid. Yeah.
Well, when Marjorie Taylor Greene did it twice, Biden didn't have the sergeant at arms remover. I think he should have, but he didn't.
Yeah, she should have been kicked out. If she was doing far more than he was doing
Absolutely.
yesterday. All he was doing
This
was
guy
saying.
wasn't even wearing a fake fur jacket.
But
like
you know
she-
what I didn't like? What I didn't like? How many Democrats yesterday, when that happened, came to his defense?
None.
None.
Yeah.
It's part of the problem with the Democrat Party.
Yep.
They won't do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone said somewhere all the Democrats that would have liked it if everybody Democratic got up and walked out of the room or something.
They should have done that. Absolutely. What are they sticking around for anyway? So they can be berated by this guy?
Right.
Well, but I don't think those paddles worked.
No.
I think that was sort of embarrassment.
That
You know,
was-
when they had the must
Yeah.
something and the lies, okay, but
There
these
was
other stupid
one woman.
sayings,
There
it
was
so
one woman who had a whiteboard.
with a whiteboard. I like that.
And she kept writing stuff on it. Wrong, this bum, that, so that was good. She was okay.
I don't think the Democrats know how to be aggressive.
I also wonder if, although this guy with the cane that got kicked out, the congressman, I wonder if this was also because he was black.
No, I think it was because he was a Democrat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as I said, my thought was when they kicked him out, everybody who was a Democrat there should have gotten up and said, well, if you're going to kick him out, we're going with him
Right.
out of protest. And just let him give the rest of his speech to his people who are, it would look like a one-sided situation.
Well,
you
it
know.
pretty much was.
It is anyway.
Yeah.
It's the biggest crowd of people he's ever got. No.
No. It's terrible. It's just terrible. I mean, we're living.
He's still getting a huge
Didn't
percentage.
he bring up right after they kicked the guy out that this country has got great First Amendment rights and I'm going to reinforce them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait a minute. This guy was just, saying his piece, his First Amendment rights, and you kicked him out. He didn't actually kick him out. The Speaker of the House kicked him out.
Yeah. Yeah. That little worm. Did you watch his face yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
He's going, oh, yeah, transgender mice. He's going,
Oh my! And two people at 200 years old. Oh my God!
oh, my God. Yeah, yeah. Enough with the eyes, asshole. Just sit there, will you, please? I mean, J.D. Vance wasn't as bad as he was, although he wasn't much better, but, he wasn't as bad as he was. But, everybody, there are people that love Trump. They think he's just wonderful.
Well, according to CNN, Trump decried millions has been spent making mice transgender.
Yeah, but it's not transgender mice. It's transgenic mice, and it has to do with something that is,
Testing.
huh?
Yeah, I think there's some kind of testing with them or something.
Right.
Yeah.
It has to do with cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. It was in cancer testing.
Cancer research.
Yeah, but it was called transgenic mice, not transgender
That's right.
mice.
That's right. That's
He
right.
didn't know what he was talking about.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Hi, excuse me. I had to just pop in. I just got in. But, they're talking about the fact that the Democrats should have walked out along when they got rid of Al Green. But not only, it's worse than that. They voted to censure him. There was the Republicans voted to
And
censure
10 Democrats voted to censure him.
10 Democrats
Right.
voted with the Republicans. That's outrageous.
Are they
That's
nuts?
absolutely outrageous. They should have all walked out. They should have all walked out, and none of them should have voted.
I think they should have given him a pass just because "Take Me to the River" is a great song.
Yeah, that's how I remember. That's how I remember his name, Al Green.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they should give the guy a medal. They should honor him because he did what John Lewis calls good trouble. We need more
That's
good
right.
trouble.
Good trouble. Good trouble.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he was being rude or anything like that. I think he was just so frustrated at what he was hearing.
This is not normal times, to ask for decorum. And people have noted the party that's asking for decorum allowed Trump to make a racial slur against Senator Ward.
Oh yes.
Pocahontas.
Bingo.
Oh,
By the way,
On the podium.
somebody on television today pointed out that the movie Pocahontas is shorter than his speech last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
Same with
Yes.
Shrek too.
Yeah, but he looks a lot like Shrek, so with ears.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so I mean, like you're saying, Tom, it's just I don't understand it.
I don't understand why the Democrats don't get off their ass when he did the. I agree with Josh from last week totally. When he kicked whatever out of the White House, Zelensky, the Democrats should have done what the Republicans do. They should have got up into the media and spun it a different direction.
They don't know how to do it. They haven't got the guts to do it.
That's right, and that's part of the problem.
The Democrats, we're just too nice to do that. Really?
Time to
It's just like, well, the voters will reject us because we're being not nice to Republicans. No, the voters are on our side now.
That's right.
See what a shit show is going on, and they're ready to join us.
Well, I think even the people. I think even the people who voted for him are sitting there scratching their heads, going, "I didn't vote for this." You know, this is insanity. You know, and the other 34% who were his MAGA people, they're stupid anyway.
Right.
You know, they're really
The base.
stupid. If they had any brains, they'd know what was best for them and know that it wasn't Trump.
Well, I got some good news on the Democratic side. I heard this just tonight. Ro Khanna is doing town halls in California in Republican districts.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what we need to do. That's one thing we definitely need to do. We need to follow the example of Ro Khanna. Go down to to these, because a lot of these Republican districts, they just squeak by. They're very vulnerable.
Ro Khanna's from the
If
Bay
you have
Area.
a Democratic representative, and by the way, Alan, it's the Democratic Party, not the Democrat Party. Okay, say it right. The Democratic Party.
Sorry, the Democratic Party.
You're welcome.
Because
Anyway.
they say Democrat Party to be insulting.
Go, Tom.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Anyway, so that's what we need to
Tom's
do.
a
We
teacher.
need to go in and you know, if the Republicans are too cowardly, because we need to call out the Republicans too. We need to call them out. You know, we need to call them out. They are cowards. They're not going to be facing their constituents. We need to face their constituents for them. Point them out.
Well,
what
actually,
cowards
if they call us Democrat, then we should call them Republic.
No, we call them fascists because that's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to know. I want to know what you think. Where the Republicans are, who find this all objectionable. I mean, there've got to be some that believe it is.
Well, there have been some Republican town halls that have gone on, and they've gotten berated.
Yeah.
And a couple of them have had literally gone out the back door because
Yeah, but they went out the back door. They didn't sit there and say, "Well, maybe you're right."
right.
You
exactly.
know.
Hamstring future.
That's your job, is to go in there and take that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lit the fire.
Well, if you're gonna be an asshole, you gotta expect that kind of reaction to you. You know. Oh well.
We have,
What were you gonna say?
does anybody know a good Republican character that we could join on our discussions and see what they have to say?
Well, the only one we really had was Bill,
Bill?
and he doesn't call anymore. Or he called once, I think, in the last.
Ro
After-
Khanna's from the Bay Area, isn't he, Tom?
Yeah. He's from the South Bay.
Right.
Well, you know, you should go where the enemy is. You should go on Fox. You know, you should go on Fox. And if you want to be on Fox, and they don't want you because you're a Democrat, then you complain to the guys that, you know, they won't let me on Fox because I'm a Democrat and I don't agree with them. You know. On the other hand, you know, I was thinking about the other day. A couple of things happened. I got really stoned the other night.
Yeah.
Not you.
Really, really stoned. Well, Marjorie went out and bought these little pills. One says chill, and one says relax, or something like that.
And
you
you
know.
took a handful of them.
No, so I
It
took one.
makes you larger, taller, makes you smaller. Is that it?
Oh, yeah.
But I took one. It's,
White
One
rabbit.
that Mama gives you doesn't do anything at all.
this
Right.
Well, this is blue. This is blue, and you take it. It's chill. I think it's a chill pill. I can't remember now. But anyway, I got really stoned. And I'm sitting there and I'm really stoned. I'm watching, Marjorie's got on MSNBC, or we got something on, and we're watching what Trump's done today and hasn't done today. And I stopped to think about it and tell me I wasn't in a state of paranoia because of the cannabis that I had ingested. But I suddenly started to think that maybe this whole thing is going on with Trump is that he's just the puppet.
Yeah.
That there's somebody pulling the strings, and who is by causing him to do stuff, causing the market to go down so that they can buy on the down market or whatever. they know it's coming, and to literally say, take over the United States, take it over.
I
there's
nominate
there's
Stephen Miller.
Two people. There's two people. One is President Musk,
Mhm.
and the other is J.D. Vance. And I said again, I agree that with all the people are saying at that meeting with Zelensky last week, it was J.D. Vance. He's the one that controlled the debate. He set Trump off. He's the one.
No, I think Trump asked him to do that, so he didn't have to start it. Okay. And then he would join in and go, yeah. And then he starts yelling, getting red in the face to Zelensky. But I think it was all choreographed. I think they knew exactly what they were going to do when they got in that room. And the idea was to ditch the whole deal, so there'd be no deal. And he could go over and hang out with his pal Putin,
Yeah, well, you might be right. But I think Trump is just too addled to make any kind of.
Well, I think there's somebody else pulling the strings, and I don't know who it is.
Well, might be all President Musk. Then.
Well, you say Musk, but today Trump did something that was kind of against Musk, in that they held a cabinet meeting, and he told everybody there, no matter what Musk tells you to do, you don't have to do it.
His lawyers made him do that.
Yeah,
lawyers, because I didn't hear the damn speech. Fortunately, I spared myself the speech. I had better things to do than that night. But supposedly what Trump did was he actually said that Trump was in charge of that government efficiency office, which he isn't supposed to do, because that means that all the decisions that are being made are totally illegal. Mm-hmm. And so his lawyers says, "Hey, you got to back down. You got to say that that Musk is not in charge. You got to."
Did you notice it?
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, that was my point.
He also said that we were done with unelected politicians.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Bureaucrats. Yeah. Whatever.
Unelected bureaucrats. Right.
Yeah.
Unelected bureaucrats.
And look who's working for him.
And then I think the cameras took a shot of Musk.
This was coming because Trump wants all the air in the room and Musk wants all the air in the room. And the end is coming between the two of them, I think.
Yeah, and the one who's going to go is Musk.
Well, he wasn't elected.
He wasn't elected, and Trump has the power.
That's right.
The only power that Musk has right now is the power that Trump gave him.
That's right.
Okay. So I mean, he's the best one to take him down if he's going to.
Certainly isn't his shareholders.
Yeah. Well,
Tesla stock is dropping like a rock.
Yeah, well, I think good, as it should be, as it should be. There are a lot of other electric cars now. You don't have to buy his, and they're cheaper than his.
Yeah.
They're much better built. My Cadillac is so solid. I've had other people drive with me in it that have Teslas, and they say Teslas are just crap.
Well, Teslas are kind of rinky-dink. They're kind of cheap,
They're very cheap.
Huh?
They're very cheap.
Yeah. But they're not cheap in comparison with some electric cars you can buy that are made by the big three.
Well, I think that's what Brian's just saying. The Cadillac is a much better car.
Yeah, mine was the same price as what's her name's Model Y that she got.
And it's an electric, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, that's it. Oh.
Well, we got a theme going here. Yeah. I just looked and I said,
But that went fast, yeah.
Yeah, went really fast, boy. Well, the first half of the show was about cars, and the other half of the show was about the same thing it always is these days.
The orangutan.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brian, for being here, and we wish you well in your new endeavors.
Thank you.
Whatever they are, I'm sure we will.
I think I'll have great news next week.
Okay, good. At least somebody around here is getting a job.
Good luck.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always enjoy you. Charlene, you're looking rather radiant lately.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
Yeah. And nice to have you here.
Losing all that weight.
Did you lose weight?
Yeah, 60-something pounds.
Really? How'd you do it? Don't say
Ozempic.
Really?
Really?
Really? Well,
I'm happy about it.
Before RFK Jr. takes it away from you.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah, I
afraid.
know.
Anyway, Jeff,
thank
thank you to Alan for being here tonight. Charlie, always good having you here, and of course, Tom Yamaguchi. What can I say? You can't call enough. Thank you. I appreciate it. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, folks? There they go. That's our citizen panel for tonight. There's another citizen panel coming right up with Amy Manuel and the intersection. She's going to be taking your calls at, what is that? It is, yes, it's on Skype, and it's GabNet Live. I'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.